Hello, hello, welcome back from the break. It's time to prepare ourselves for the final game of the final day here on the Bravo stream. Guz, Pengu, we're here to take you through the action for this particular one for what should be the most colourful cast of the event, because neither of us are play-by-play.
Yeah, so if you hear a lot of analysis and breakdowns and thinking this sounds amazing, just wait until the action happens and we start going, whoa.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Should be good fun. Obviously, we're going to be covering Loss and Fury for this one, a match which will determine who finishes second in this particular group as we look back at the schedule for Stream B. And it's been the 2-0 show.
I was going to say, following this pattern, this might be a quick one because it has indeed been 2 series across the board. Of course, some going into overtime, some being in regulation, but a 2-0 regardless. And of course, if you're Fury and Lows, you don't really, or you're not desperate for a victory here, but of course, it's nice to end the group stage of Phase 1 with a W.
Well, it's been an okay tournament for APAC thus far, with a couple of teams sneaking through. Fury, of course, have made it, but this will be a critical match for seeding. Let's have a look at Fury first, a roster which has had a pretty good performance thus far. Again, it is Group D, so an asterisk on it perhaps being the weakest group. However, they've had some standout players, Nick, most notably Crit J has been popping off.
I was gonna say, I want to be the negative guy now here, like Colas and Dark having a really tough tournament so far, where it has been the Crit J show where he really carries that front side. Or so, if you look at the top, you have a really phenomenal player in Crit J. But you look at the bottom, like Colas and Dark, minus like 34, like the 30s, etc. So, going to Phase 2, I want to see Fury get more in that middle section where every player shows up a little bit more, and then maybe if that's required, Crit J can take a little bit of a step back.
Obviously, they have an opponent to come up against in this matchup. It is the formidable Loss, the runners-up at the Atlanta Major. So many question marks as to whether or not they could back up such a phenomenal performance here at the 6 Invitational. Nick, how have you been tracking them so far?
Yeah, so, you know, I cast with Parker domestically Lows before the Atlanta Major and thinking this is not a roster that I expect much from. Then Atlanta happens and I'm like, okay, I was so wrong. And I feel like they've kind of gave us mixed feelings so far. They've had some good showcasing, some okay showcasings at this minute, but one player in particular that I want more from is Maya. Maya was a player that was on the map at Atlanta, being one of the best players in the world right now. Same when Cyber had that crazy run 1 or 2 years prior to that. But Maya this event not having a great time. He is not looking great. He's -9 on the entry, so he's getting opening engagements, but he's almost always losing in those situations.
Obviously, another key player to look at as well is Loban, having a sip of water right now. He's been having a good tournament, as expected. A +23 from him. I believe the map veto is ready, so I don't know. We'll see if it is. Let's throw it up and have a look at where this best of 3 will take place. So Oregon, Labs, and Border if required.
Oh, okay, so I always see Oregon being like the fundamental check for teams, like droning, clearing, doing basic executes. And if you're Fury and you've had a bit of a shaky fundamentals for this tournament, I think you're like, it's a nice check for themselves, being like, okay, we gotta prove to ourselves, our fans and the opposing team, that we can do the 1-2-3s and the ABCs of Siege. They're gonna start on that particular map to showcase that.
Border is the decider, of course, a map which is almost on the other end of the spectrum. Pure chaos most of the time. Are we expecting a third map, though, in this match?
Honestly, Oregon's a 50-50 coin toss. I feel like if Fury can win out on Oregon, which is hard because you start an attack inside, I could see a third map. But if Fury to pick Oregon, they lose it because they start attack, I'm not sure Border's going to come.
Well, we got through the pre-show. We didn't make too many mistakes, which I'm happy about.
I think it was pretty good.
Because none of us have hosted.
Clap on the shoulder.
Yeah,
Good
clap on
job.
the back. I appreciate it. Let's jump into it, though. Lost the favorites quite clearly by the community. Social prediction giving them a 70-30 split. Keen to jump into this map, though. One which is traditionally quite defender-sided. None more so than SI24.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the meta being kind of shook around here, where we go from Atlanta, where it's kind of 50-50, relatively balanced meta game, and then all of a sudden we're seeing a very defender-heavy meta game right now, where there's only a handful of teams, the top dogs like W7M, G2, Sonics, and Dark Zero, for example, that can muster out 2, 3, maybe sometimes 4 attacking rounds, whereas for a lot of teams right now, you're looking at 2-4 halves more often than not.
Yeah, I saw a bit of discussion online. I believe it was a tweet from Tom J. Sherlock. Shout out if you're watching. I know you're co-streaming the event. He made the point that perhaps the game at the moment, or the event so far, has been so defender-sided because it's taking teams a while to get into the flow of things on the attacking side, and it's really been a major issue for perhaps weaker teams because, I mean, just pure case study, I was watching the G2 game a little bit earlier. They didn't seem to be having as many issues compared to a lot of other teams which looked far slower and far sloppier.
But that is the thing. When something is very hard, and that's why a lot of people go like, oh, I don't like this meta, it's so one-sided. Like, well, I think it's nice for a change to see that you have to be a really good attacking team to find attacking success, whereas it's just like a 50-50, like, oh, you might get some rounds even if you're not the greatest attacking team. So I look at this as like it's a different approach to the game more than like it's a worse version of the game.
Well, I like the positivity, Nick. Let's jump into this one, though. The ban phase is rolling out at the moment. Ying and Dokkaebi, pretty familiar bans on a map like Oregon. Very, very execute heavy. Typically, all 10 players still alive. Valkyrie as well will play no further part in this matchup. The second ban from Fury, followed up by the Fenrir. So no curveballs to speak of just yet.
No, you're right. This is pretty standard. It really comes down to, you know, which defenders of those, we call them the Power Rangers in Europe, right? Like the Fenrir, Solas, Asami, etc. to around now as well. Which one do you want available to you, and which one do you just not want to play against whatsoever? For Oregon, it's very common we see the Fenrir ban. You got the staircases on like all the bomb sites basically, and especially for basement, that's such like a tight hallway section, freezer, laundry, and blue double door. It's just so hard to enter the map in those scenarios. Now, Lowe's, they banned the Fenrir, they're starting defense, but we all know that you only play 6 rounds, then you gotta swap, so Lowe's are not expecting a 6-0 here and just gonna clutch out one singular attack. They're playing the long game here. They're gonna ban Fenrir, not have it open, but also give themselves some hope for the attacking side when it comes.
So, to reaffirm the stakes of this matchup, because I believe we maybe only just lightly brushed over them in the pre-show, this is a battle for second place in Group D. And for those unaware, if you finish second in your group, depending on how you're seeded against second from the other groups, you get to pick your opponent from the third place teams of the other groups in the playoff bracket. How important do you think that will be in the context of the event?
It's always fun, isn't it? Because like, you get to get a little bit of banter, you know, a strong team sees another team as a weaker opponent, so they pick them, etc. And I'm a big fan of that. I also think for strategical purposes, as a team, you can prepare more for it, and that's always a good look for like coaching staff. But before we get too excited about this matchup, there will be a quick rehost. Not entirely sure as to why, but we're gonna get the players back in the lobby, rehost it, and get it going. It was an audio issue, supposedly. They happen.
Rip.
But nothing happened, like no one died, no executes happened, you know, just like outside big tower, still kind of setting up from that prep phase on defense, etc. So nobody really gained any significant advantage. Of course, same bomb site and same operators will be played, but you can move around some barbed wire, some reinforcements if you so wish.
5:30 p.m. local time here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. As I've mentioned, it's actually been a pretty quick day, and I'm sure both of the teams will want to get this job done. Go to bed nice and early and rest up for the rest of the event. Of course, for loss, they'll really want to do a good job in that playoff bracket in the hopes of making it to the live portion of the event, where no doubt the crowd is going to be very much in their favor.
I mean, if there ever was a time to make a top 8 like quarters, you know, main stage event, it would be this SI. It is going to be the biggest crowd we have ever had at any event in the history of the game. And it'll be in Brazil no less, where we know that the passions from the fans, it is incredible. It is absolutely, it's like insane essentially. It's gonna get super loud, and if you're a player and you will play for, you know, let's say 5 years, if there's one event you could make it for, I feel like it'll be this one. That's where you want to be.
Now, is that pressure or is that motivation?
Well, if you are, let's say, a foreign team, so not Brazilian, up against a Brazilian team, it's hard. You know, you're gonna go up, and every death that you have, every mistake that you make, every drone that gets killed, the entire crowd will erupt into a roar, and you're like, that's because they want us to lose. Not every player can deal with that, especially if you are less experienced, especially, you know, less experienced playing in front of a crowd, but also just, you have to worry about so many factors. When you sit at home playing ranked, when you like play domestic play in Pro League, you're sitting in your bedroom, comfortability. You know, you got your food next to you, your snacks, your drinks. Like the chairs are perfect height. You go to LAN, okay. Now you don't have your food and your snacks, and your chair's a bit different and stuff like that. But you go to play with a crowd, it's like I got these thousands of people judging my every move, and you can see them. They're right behind your monitor. It's a difficult thing to deal with.
On the side of Fury, of course, perhaps their expectations a little bit smaller in terms of where they want to get to at this event. Only one of their members have ever attended a Six Invitational before, being I9, the other four debuting. One player in particular, and I highlighted him in a previous game, is Lycolis. He has been fighting to make this event since 2018.
Ooh.
He lost APAC Finals against Fnatic in Season 8.
Oh.
Norango Season 9.
Oh, no.
Wildcard Season 10.
That's insane.
Now in the new format, he's finally made it here. What a relief it must be for him.
He's actually been gatekept by all the APAC GOATs, basically, throughout time. That's incredible. Not many players can say that. And because that's the thing, like when we speak of old APAC success stories, it's always like Fnatic and Norango that first jumps to mind, making like deep run in events, making basically every event was Fnatic for a very, very long time.
And then they beat you.
I tend to like skip over that when I tell these stories, but I was gonna say we used to scrim Fnatic every event to like warm each other up, and yeah, eventually they beat us. All that practice and scrims, it paid off for them, and they became the victor in the actual game that mattered more than anything else, and they basically sent us home.
I think you had a sub for that tournament though, right? So
Yeah, technically speaking, Boss was
it's okay.
a sub.
Forgivable. Well, let's jump back into the game. Apologies again for the technical pause at the beginning. One of the players having an audio issue, but that has since been resolved. Oregon we go. Basement first up. Lost starting out on the defense, and Fury showing both the Amaru and Blitz for round one.
I love this. I mean, I think it was when I cast with Samuel, I was like, Samuel, I love casting Blitz. It's like, it's fun, it's chaotic, you never know what you're gonna get, and it's a massive difference between how teams to play it. Right now we see them outside a blue double door. Very evidently, they want a full send, but the issue is there's a mirror window and a C4 behind it with dash, so flashbangs go in, the C4 has to hit the mark, or it's gonna be hard to stop this push.
Well, the mirror window is in play, making things challenging for the attack. Dots with a Nitro, good for the first, and takes down the star player of Fury. And any potential for a rush now squandered.
That's it. You know, 3 people out there, 1 person dies, the Blitz, yeah, okay, I guess we gotta go elsewhere. And that's the thing, when you have a star player like Kerche, do you put him on Blitz, who's so likely to die first in battle? I don't know. It's same when we have a guy go like 10 kills and 2 deaths, you don't put that guy on Monty, right? You want to give those guys the opportunity to get those kills and get in there and get the job done.
Yeah, there's a joke that Xenox and I have locally. He hates the Blitz Rush in blue because it never works. And I was a doubter for the longest time. I was like, what do you mean? What are you waffling about? 2 times at this event, I have seen failed Blitz Rushes.
Yep.
So, there you go. I believe him now. Oh, Dots caught with the Supernova. Lycolis was allowed to grapple into Big Tower. So able to pluck one back for Fury, but Maya is holding inside of Meeting. All bangs one. Shots land onto the second. Of course, again, Lycolis up shotgun, so he can't take a fight at that range. Dark stranded underneath the default. And this has been a round that's a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, when your strategy is to go for a blue rush and the Blitz dies early, you're kind of scrambling together the pieces. You're saying, okay, it's 4v5, our plan didn't work, go to plan B. And I think one of the difficulties for Fury talking to I9 and stuff like that throughout the event is overview, having the full information, the top-down aspect, the communication, and having to adapt on the fly. I9 in this round, he's dead, but he's watching cameras, probably watching a flank, something that's pretty crucial. So like Colis and Dog are kind of on their own right now to figure out how are we gonna salvage this 2 versus 4, which to be completely honest, given that Lowe's have fallen back to the bomb side, realistically you shouldn't win this attack at all.
Not quite impossible.
Never impossible.
But very, very improbable here for Fury. 40 seconds, and Dark will walk his way across as to not give away any sound to any potential players inside of blue. 50 HP and not much time on the clock. He'll sneak forward, the cross established. Diffuser now in the dirt, and Lycolis on an island inside of Meeting. The hatch was pre-opened by Loss. An aggressive hold up above to thwart the aggression of Fury, and I think they'll be quite pleased with that opening round.
Oh, I think they will as well. And I like that Lowe's are playing a more I would say domestic Brazilian style of Oregon, where they love to get active on the map, extend out. You know, we see them holding meeting, they had a bit of top 4 presence, and it just means that attackers have a hard time actually getting into the building. And when you lock them out, like we see right here, you're fighting every inch of the map. Nothing ever comes for free. Obviously, if you're Fury looking back at that round in hindsight, you can say, okay, if there's all these people in like meeting, big tower area, etc., no one's probably going to play like dining, maybe Kid Storm upstairs. So there are avenues that are going to be free. Unless every single member of LOS are roaming, scattered across the map, somewhere is always going to be a free entry. It's the matter of having the drone intel and the communication to say, guys, this area is free, someone go take it, I'm going to hold this drone, get inside the building quickly, and just assert a little bit of map presence at least.
Well, Fury tried to get active on the attack in the previous round, and the Blitz Rush was nothing short of a failure. A great Nitro to deter any further push from that position, and lost elsewhere, as you mentioned, getting very active defensively. Top floor we go, and it's an open hold once more. I believe Games Wall is open up, and the Arena now punching line of sight into Trophy. So indicative that Lost are going to play for as much map control as they can.
Exactly that. They're going to keep the same formula going. If it works the first round, why not do it once more at minimum? I9 was hovering Blackbeard for an awfully long time there. I did think we were going to see a Blackbeard pick and play, but it's going to be self-destruction of Sophia instead. And I'm a big fan of self-destruction in general in Oregon. A lot of floors to be broken, walls to be opened up, a line of sight to be gathered. Fury, they're going to keep rotating. They've seen something. With this push here, 4 people towards a big window. This could be another attempt, maybe, at a fast take. They got the Gridlock Stingers, they got the Grim Bees, so they can get some information and also nullify the sound here to maybe make it hard to hear if they jump in that big window.
Well, Dash is down below in a position to disrupt from small tower. Double stack currently from Fury as the Solace will actually retreat back. I was of the same mind that perhaps you'd see aggression double window early. Not the case at the moment. Dot's holding the line up close. It is Dash, though, to get the first. Dark falls, the Gridlock in the grave. Hopefully, she was able to get some of those track stingers out. Will trade come through? No! Dash long range with the P90. Able to land a headshot like Cole has taken low. On the back of the DMR. And much like the previous round, Fury just not quite getting their teeth in the attack.
No, I see what they want here, right? Buck goes below in kitchen, opens up the floor for Kid Storms, then they jump in the big window, but now because the downstairs push got destroyed, well, now they gotta once again swap around, you know, on the fly, middle of the round, with things not going the way they want to. Low seeming a good read here. Now, okay, nothing's really happening. Let's extend out across the map, put out our feelers. Where are they gonna be entering from? And one sole player of Dash shuts down the entirety of the kitchen side portion of the map. I9 now is downstairs, has 2 Sophia breaches charged of course from below, but is that gonna be enough?
Spotted out, and I9 with the wrong utility equipped, stuns himself, the impact delayed, can't find the shot, it's a mess down below. Dots finally falls. It was a little bit sloppy. 45 seconds now on the clock, and perhaps a small window of opportunity for Fury to bring this one back.
Yep, still got the bees, still got the flashes going out. Could jump in the big window, but we see cameraman there with an angle. Dash downstairs, bottom wide, and low inside of Kid Storms. Dash is so accurate in these gunfights. 3rd kill to his name in this round right now. It's BB-Man and Lycolis in that 2v4, but again, it looks so difficult to just enter the building and enter the map, and it will not happen either. Maya finds the final kill, and things are looking tough here for Fury.
Not quite sure what Dash had for breakfast, but
I want some of that.
Yeah, my word. Running rampant on the Solace. 2k to kick things off, and a nice 3rd to just deny any pressure on the White Stairs position in the late round. Couple scrappy moments from Fury. Mistrade here. And then, of course, this little interaction down below. Unfortunate for I9. One of those awkward moments where obviously you're shooting through metal bars. You're looking directly up, trying to get the angle. That play's running all over the place, so it's difficult to find the shot. But, yeah, the entire attacking idea there of Fury to build around a double window just never really came into fruition.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing right now for Fury is that I want to see them do more, and I hate to use this term, split theory here approach. Where, yeah, right, I hate it. Because if you have 3 players big window, and two people in small tower, you're all pushing from one side, the south side of the map. And imagine you have a guy flanking Dash from big tower, green hallway window, or you get into meeting or something like that, and you're flanking. That's the good old style of Seed we call hammer and anvil, where you have one side pushing towards the other, and it says bang, and you catch them in the middle. Instead, because Fury are pushing from one side, we're seeing Lowe's being like disrespectfully aggressive right now, running out of lobby door from the spawn peaks, trapping I9 right now, basically in the spawn point of the map, and again, not able to really gain any ground, but having to fight for it since the very beginning of a round.
Fury, of course, hailing from Thailand and the Southeast Asian region. This should not be an unfamiliar playstyle to them. That is a region which can be ultra aggressive defensively, and they should have the systems in place to deny that. Were they expecting it heading into this particular game? Maybe not. But the beauty of Siege is that it really does reward teams that can react on the fly, build themselves up into a game. Dash once more up above. Keen eye on him this round. 3 kills so far, all of them in the previous round, but you wouldn't think it as he gets caught in the back, and Crit J. Nice double to kick things off.
Why is this man playing Blitz in the first round? I said, give this man a gun. He can hit those shots. The timing there, Lopen looks away. It's completely selling themselves here. And of course, the air chat, I mean, this is beautiful. You said they expect the aggression. And this time around Fury, they actually do all the right steps here, covering all the right areas of the map, and they shut down Lowe's aggression in an instant.
I feel a little bit vindicated as I make comment that Fury should be able to shut this down. And finally, they do. Lost aggressing on the perimeter of the map, left a pocket of space for Crit J to take. And now it's Mara in the 1 versus 3 as the plant goes down. Surely from here it will be a clean round for Fury. And it is a good response.
You need every attacking round victory that you can get on the attacking side, because you just need 1 or 2 usually, and you should be okay as long as you can hold tight onto your defenses. Speaking of my favorite operator of Blitz, what is yours? What are you an enjoyer of to watch?
Ooh, to watch or to play?
To watch specifically. It's different than playing, right?
Very true. I would say on attack, I love Zero. I think Zero can provide so much value. Obviously, with the complexity of Siege, it's very difficult to maybe directly just watch the Zero and see the impact that he has in the round, but I enjoy some Zero for sure. What about you?
I mean, on attack, it's the Blitz, right? Because I love the chaos, but on defense, it's a good question, isn't it? It's a wonderful question.
There's so many good defenders.
There are a lot of good defenders. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like, I love a good Valkyrie, like C4 below with a camera, you know? I'm an easy guy. Very simple stuff.
I was going to say, very simple, but simple but effective.
Yeah. Obviously, Valkyrie has always been a very meta operator, either played or banned, and that's still true to this day. Banned here in Oregon by Lowe's, and if not banned, probably played in some of these rounds at least. The ability to put cameras and intel anywhere so freely, it can be in the ceiling, in the floor, beneath like some crates. Only really Valkyrie gives you that kind of hidden intel, whereas a Maestro cam are bulletproof, they light up like crazy, they have limited positions, you can't throw them. So even till this day, despite being the second DLC operator of Dustline, she's still very unique. And
of course, over that time, she's lost the camera, lost the ability to throw them outside.
Yeah.
Multiple nerfs, yet
she's
she
still around.
Continues to be banned at the highest level.
Meanwhile, Isn't 11 loses 3 damage in the last patch, and every pro lost their mind. Valkyrie's going through it. No one's saying anything about that. They're like, that's deserved.
I mean, Ying as well on the attack, right, is got a very high presence.
Yeah.
I know they've juggled around with balancing on that a little bit over time. Either way, let's jump into round 4. No engagements to speak of yet, but Crit J to get some map control. Obviously, a speedy 2k for him on the top floor in the previous round. As we see him lurk through attic, probably looking for some vertical opportunities. Secondary hard breach in pocket, and he can open up that attic hatch.
Interesting. Attic being double reinforced here, so Dots is very safe inside a tier 2 of tower, and kind of, I mean, if you're Dots in this position, just try and stay alive for as long as possible. Of course, disrupt the attackers, kill some drones, maybe even, oh, that was basically a free kill, but a bit of a whiff there from Dots, and with the attic wall being opened up, he's going to climb back up the ladder, because no one can really contest him in that position. He can hold on the tower for them, probably like the remainder of this round.
Assuming he got spotted there by Crit J on the drone, I'm almost certain. There are pings up above, so we'll see if Fury elect to contest. And based on the body language of like Colas, he's going to take a shotgun to a mid-ranged fight. And he's going to swing in, but from down below, caught off guard, Dark with a nice crossfire with his teammate.
It's a good push there. For a second, I thought that it was just like Cold flying in and dying for
Same,
nothing.
I was scared.
And with the shotgun in hand, right? But of course, it was communicated by Fury. 3, 2, 1 countdown based off the flashbang pop as well. That's quite nice. But the one thing it cost them was time. They only have 40 seconds. They've just started opening up hatches on freezer stairs, etc. So they lag a little bit of setup time. Good news though, they only gotta deal with a mirror and a single C4. There are no toxic babes, there's no Goyo fire, so this aggressive play could work out, but no, it gets punished by Cameraman, who finds 2 kills in the spray of things, and Fury are not getting the opening that they wanted.
3 versus 3 now, just under 20 seconds on the clock, so the man advantage from Fury slips, but like Colas with the SMG good for one as the flank comes through from Loban. He can drop down. Oh no, caught off guard. Tries to support Maya, but unfortunately not the case, and Fury, with it must be said, a pretty damn good attack.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was thinking, damn, they don't have enough time to figure things out, but they absolutely did. They were so quick at just saying, you know what, guys, this is not going to be perfect, it's not going to be clean, but it's what we need to do here. And you're thinking, okay, Box is going to skeleton key through a barricade from Crit J, and it looks, okay, maybe it's going to go well. Okay, it didn't. But no player hesitated there. Everyone followed through. And it's a basement attack. This is a massive attack and round victory for the side of Fury here. Because if you don't start winning some of these attack and rounds, well, then you're not going to have a great time on defense because you don't have enough time to work with. This is great.
Yeah, Lost trying to continue their aggressive flair through the last couple of rounds, but Fury have been up to the task. Bit of a slow start following the map, but I think they've adjusted nicely to that aggression, and we'll see if that continues now into round 5. We go up to the top floor. I thought perhaps we'd see Lycolis once more stick the Amari bit. An interesting composition. The Capital will be brought out this time around, and you highlighted it before. The Blackbeard was teased.
Yeah.
Now it will get some playtime.
Interesting. Also, shout out to Lycolis. I was like, I want to see more from this man before the game started. He's 4-2 right now, but a great previous round. Just missing Dark in the action. They were there. Then Fury will be all fired up. See what they can do. The Blackbeard, of course, in the generator window is great. You can take a few shots like he just did and still stay alive. A normal operator likely died to a headshot there. You know, lost the opening kill. Cluster wall not just being open with a rotate, but soft destruction at feet level as well. Very hard for any attacker to enter master bedroom right now. Again, the same classic style of make it hard for the enemy to enter the building. Fury need to problem solve this. Got some smokes in Capital. They got flashbangs on Ibana as well as the Buck, so they do have tools to get inside. Oh,
ooh. Cheeky from Cameraman. The 9mm good for 1 pick. As he holds the gen window. Again, that's where the Blackbeard is stationed up I-9. Ooh. With only 1 shield remaining, and Cameraman, despite going head-to-head with the Blackbeard, could still win this fight if he lands his shots. I-9 does find a pick, but not with his gun. That's a Claymore elsewhere. Dash perhaps looking to jump out on the Blackbeard, and you can see the death marker outside that white window.
Or Dash. Makes the play, gets Claymored, feels bad, but that is life. You gotta check it when you jump out, of course, so you can C4 impacted. Of course, no solace in play. They could not have checked for it before making that decision. And as far as those in the back foot here, they're playing a little bit more reserved, a little bit more laid back, not holding master bedroom, not holding the master bedroom closet either. They've given up the first line of defense, now holding that second hold, attic, pit storms, big window, and they're waiting for Fury to make the first move and then punish them.
Definitely trying to force Fury into breaking these crossfires. Entry point now established into pit. You can see the soft wall open up. I-9 continues to hold this cross. It'll be up to the rest of the team then to push forward, get a plant down, and force the defense to try and retake the objective. Not sitting pretty. Loban as well. I believe he's inside of attic and he could swing at a moment's notice. So for Lost, it's just about making these callouts true, ensuring that the peaks are well timed. The flashbangs to come through, and Lycolis will actually get the first. Untraded, unanswered, but he does go deep and is punished. 3 versus 3, and the shots come through. Loban now unable to swing and find a trade initially, and Crit J, who lags behind the rest of the push, goes prone, finds him, And it's another round for Fury.
It looked like a hard crosser to break, but honestly, it was pretty nicely done from Fury. They made it very simple. No big rotations needed. No need to like overcomplicate things. Just take your flashbangs, take two people, walk in together, and trade out effectively. And then when you get that advantage, hold the angles, expect the pushback because they gotta try and even the numbers, and Gridjay finds that final kill. And despite two players playing Addict from Fury, well, or from Lowe's rather, they get broken apart. Oh, man.
Well, the vibes are high in the Fury camp at the moment, and it's hard to blame them. That's 3 in a row.
It's a great half for them so far.
Yeah, rough start, but 3 rounds on this map, in this meta.
That's a job well done
That's
right
a W.
there.
And I mean, you can make the argument now, right, that the 6th round, the final of the half, is almost a bit of a free shot for them. If they lose it, not really the end of the world. They win it. Wow, we're doubling their opponent's score. That would be quite a tally. Again, keeping in mind, this is Loss's map pick, so they should be proficient on this map, especially defensively.
Well, that's a good point. It all comes down to the next half. 'Cause, I mean, no matter what happens here, 4-2 or 3-3, it's going to be the next side so that determines things, rather. We could just look at it somehow, some way, an attacker side Organ, because both teams are so excellent at attacking, perhaps, but we have to find out after this final round in the first half will be played out. Basement once again. And a bit more utility here from Los. We're in the Kaid, the Mira, the Wamai, like Asami and Warden. Like, this is them saying, we want to fight you 5 versus 5 on the bomb site in a full-on brawl execute style. And again, Fury have to be the ones to problem solve. The only, like, bomb site initiating operator they got right now, it's the Grim. Those bees coming out, spotting players' locations. There's no Capitao, there's no Ying, of course, who's banned out, and there is no Blitz in play this time from Gridjay.
Yeah, we can all breathe a sigh of relief that we're not going to see a failed rush. But there is a pretty heavy stack already through lobby here from Fury, poking and prodding their way over towards Laundry. Rotera to come through from BG Man, an advanced position to deal with perhaps Mutil at the forefront of this push. Elsewhere in the backlines, like Colas has meeting control, so Lost not contesting anything outside of the objective. Hatch has been reinforced by the Kaid Electro Claw, and the Impact EMP from I9 doesn't land.
This is tricky because you're going to assume the Kaid Claw is in like the default position, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Dots denies the drone. Now we see it is in the opposite corner than usual.
Oh, they got it.
Second EMP gets it, yeah. No Kaid Claw in pocket either, so this should go through. But that could have been dire, so it's a really good guessing game there from the side of Fury, because if that hatch does not get opened up, you cannot attack the backside. You need the meeting hatch drop if you're going to go from Big Tower. But we see the silhouettes. There are 3 people towards Freezer Stairs right now.
Dark, one of them. Could look to follow up the Flores drone here, the Rotero. But they are pushing straight into a mirror window setup from the defense. Keeper barriers as well in play from Loban. So Fury have decent initial control, but this next push will be a challenge. Neither of the mirror windows have been dealt with. Like Polis will maybe be eager to clear those with the X-Kairos from the Habana. There's no Twitch in play, which is obviously one of the hard counters for this particular site.
Yeah, the ass-breaching charges, you know, they can shatter them, Twitch drones, and like, just not seeing play right now. I feel like there's a bit of a misread in the attacker repick, and now limited tools, and the Grim falls as well from I9. That's a massive loss now. Now it's just down to 4 players, no utilities to help them really. It's all down to gun skill and essentially 6 flashbangs.
Eyes on Lycolis now outside blue as the hatch drop comes through from Gridjay. Good for one. Pulls out the skeleton key, but he's looking for more. Somehow, Fury, they had the advantage, but only momentarily. 10 seconds now. Will time become a problem? Might not be an issue, though, as it's just cameraman standing. His position known and cleared by Fury. So despite a poor attacker repick, they're able to make it work.
This is the story of Fury right now. They are not necessarily doing the cleanest things with attacker repick or operator usage, but they are formidable in their crossfires right now on the attacking side. They have the traits going their way, and they have an absurd amount of confidence, especially how aggressive Lowe's played in the first 2 rounds, making them unable to enter the building, basically getting spawn peaked. They're still saying, we don't care about those things. We're gonna run you down on the bomb side and just take those gunfights with confidence. And you see it here, even in the final 1 versus 2, both members from Fury, they peak cameraman together.
Yeah, even if some of the theory has been off in terms of composition picks here from Fury, it's difficult to deny that their fundamentals in terms of, you know, the macro making the most of what they have, I suppose. Has been
that's
really,
exactly
really strong. Because I think traditionally a lot of, especially APAC teams in these kind of positions, if they were faced with that, would spend the entire round just like stressing out about it, worrying about it, not
can't see the mirror. Oh no!
Yeah, like not finding a problem to overcome it and find some win conditions. Whereas Fury on that occasion, even after losing the first pick, we're like, all right, let's just send it. Let's go for a set play. Let's try and back ourselves and win these gunfights. We've done that the last 3 rounds in a row and it's worked out. So why not do it again? Clearly it worked. 4-2 lead. Now on the defensive half, this is looking really good for Fury.
This is looking like a very dominant Oregon so far, but the Gala shows they can also do the same thing on defense. But if they can make that same kind of decision-making and problem-solving work where they have the confidence, they play close together, they should be just fine. I don't see a world where they start falling apart as long as they can keep their composure up here. And Lowe's, they're going to start in a very similar fashion as that of Fury when they attack the first round. They're going to play Blitz on a basement attack. It's going to be Dots leading the charge on that operator, but they're hiding it for now. It's going to be Maya on the entry, going in front of him, just kind of gathering map control right now. And the pace we're looking at is that you want to start opening up those hatches at about 1 minute and 45 seconds. But there is one thing to note here. Cameraman is on Maverick. It's a bit slower of a hard-breaching tool. So the quicker you can be on the attack right now, the better it's going to be. Whereas if you had Ibana, you just pop those hatches, bang, bang, bang. Maverick needs about 20-35 seconds per hatch. So Dash can open 2, Cameraman gets 1, but time is of the essence.
Well, Cameraman actually still outside the front door, so he's spent the first half of this round, I presume, gathering information for the rest of the team, or maybe he was working the lobby hatch. Not entirely sure, but either way, fair point made about time perhaps being an issue here for loss. But again, leaning into the blitz, they might be able to make up for that a little bit. Lobby hatch is still standing, so Cameraman was outside. Ooh. All 3 still standing here. One will be taken down with the secondary hard breach from the Grim, so good work. Dash, Cameraman now to work the hatch. But we're already behind in terms of where they probably should be at this point in the round.
We'll say, look, Cameron doing a pretty good job here. It's a fairly experienced player, one could say.
A little bit.
And this hatch, that's done. That's like 25 seconds. That's pretty good, but still, yeah. Just now, hatches get opened up. Lobby's still not open and probably won't be in this round. 1 minute left on the clock. I think you're right. It comes down to the blitz play here. That's going to buy you the time that you lost. It's going to give you possibly the opening that you need. But look at this setup from Dark. He's got a rotation hole that's a vault prompt back to the bomb site with a frost trap behind it. He could bait the blitz in and maybe get a cheeky kill here based off utility. And now they're going to start keep it bearing off as well. So they're stalling out the attack.
40 seconds then on the clock. Dark with a Nitro Cell and a deployable shield. We've set the stage. It's going to land on the blitz to make a play. That's exactly what happens. Dark will fall. 3v3. The Nitro, though, in response lands perfectly. Loban now, the last standing. 3 kills for Lycolis in round 7. And Loban left asking where the rest of the team went wrong, because this is a tall order. He falls, and Fury keep the round streak going.
5 rounds. 5-2. A great starting side to the defense here. Confidence in the server. Getting those opening kills. Shutting down the advancements of the attack. And also playing the util game. Playing the cage. Slowing down that hard breaching. Mira might die here, but the second C4 follow-up was perfect. Blitz is reloading, Shield is not covering the body, it takes him down, and even if Blitz were to jump to the rotate, you actually got the Frostmat as well. So there really wasn't any way in there for Dots in the Blitz, and while you do get elbow control, nothing comes afterwards.
Forget the caster curse. I think it's now the caster buff. I mentioned Lycolis before. Up to 10 kills.
In 3.
Guess what his rating was at this event heading into this game?
I looked at his plus-minus KD. It was like -32, -34, so no, it's really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what the number is.
So 0.75 rating, put him bottom of Fury.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know it at the moment. I mean, he's been having a cracking game. And their impact kills. Again, obviously we talk about that, right? Sometimes, you know, a player, depending on their role and the context of the match, can farm picks that otherwise aren't necessarily influencing the round. But last round, a perfect example where if he doesn't lob that Nitro, land that, and then protect Laundry, whole site would have been under a lot more danger. So good work from him. And for Fury overall, 5-round streak. And Lost no need to break that on the attack, where they're the ones that need to be confident, show the initiation. It is their map pick, but I can't help but feel that Fury have their number.
you're right, it's 5 straight. They lost the first 2 rounds, 5 rounds now in a row, really looking like they're in the driver's seat and setting the pace here. And those are going to do a thing that I'm not the biggest fan of. You play Blitz the first round for this like offensive, execute, does not work out even remotely. Second round now, Kid Storms to bring out the Monty. I personally am not a huge fan of Monty and Organ. I'm very curious and intrigued, however, to see what Dots is planning right now and how to utilize the operator. Monty, of course, helps you gain map control, establish a plant down later on in the round, but for the early stages, you are also down a gun, because Monty's going to be extended out, dash down on HP from big window. So Fury are giving those their own dosage here, saying, hey, you gotta fight for everything, we're gonna swing the windows, we're gonna take those gunfights, we're gonna chip you down on damage throughout this round.
The Monty then has been able to gain some control inside of Master Bedroom. I-9 down below. Perhaps not anticipating Loban to be up close as the track stingers were deployed. Nitro Cell chipped away. There's so much chaos inside of Bedroom. They're double stacking it at the moment, peeking from Trophy. Maya's doing his best to protect the shield, but Crit J finds one more. Lost now at the disadvantage again, and Fury working their way towards match point.
I love that. I've never seen a team send 4 players running at the Monty and just taking people down behind him, and it works out so far. Hipfires do not connect here. Dark and Crit J, though, very low on HP, as is Maya. So maybe Dots in this round on the Monty could make some massive value here with a couple of shots, but no, they just advance again. The over-aggression from Fury is rewarded time and time again. Low started it, but Fury, they're ending it.
It's insane to think that we are witnessing a game where the aggression from Fury on defense has been more effective than the aggression on defense from a major runner-up. Now, again, this is a seeding game. Of course, both of these teams have already qualified for the bracket. But again, sure, significant advantage if you win this game. I think both teams will want to build up their momentum and confidence into the rest of the bracket.
Exactly.
So this, so far, has been an unexpected result.
I really don't think that the argument that, you know, seeding game, we don't care that much. I certainly think that the 6 Invitationals, first of all, you mentioned this already, you want to end on a W. You don't want to go into phase 2 being like, oh, we lost the last game, we kind of trolled a bit. And secondly, if you can hand-pick your opponent, you can say, our playstyle lines up really well against this team. We're gonna pick them if possible. We're gonna prepare, counter-strat, etc. and just have more prep work available. You certainly want to get higher seeding in this scenario for sure. And I don't think those are trolling. I don't think they're playing bad Siege, but I do think they're getting massively surprised by Fury, either because they're underestimating them or just certainly not expecting this kind of performance or this kind of playstyle, if you will.
Meeting Kitchen then for the 9th round in this matchup, and perhaps the last if Fury are able to string 7 consecutive rounds, which would be quite a feat. In terms of the defensive setup, we are going to see an extension up above with Attic double reinforced off. Definitely looking to fortify that position. Lost may look to play into that, of course, from Big Tower across. With Attic, contest it. Vertical control. The Buck is in play. Elsewhere, Dots is running the Ace, and one of those Summers have been deployed. Not entirely sure where. It looks like it is the Games Wall. Of course, looking to generate a line of sight in towards top floor and prevent those defenders from running around.
No more shield play here from the side of Los. The Bravo though in action now to gain some intel. Sub-reach on dash and opening kill actually from Maya. Very aggressive in the white stairs, but again, Fury there for trade and one additional. Like Cola Speech Man, one a pop now on those. Again, they gain a little bit, but they lose so much every single time. Let's see this Crossfire is holding true for Fury here, because if things fall apart, no, they don't. I take it back. BG Man, he's the G. Loban flashbang as well outside the building. This might be a 7-2 in dominant fashion. It will be 7 rounds straight, mind you, if they win this round, and it's just Loban in a 1v4.
It's felt like everything that can go wrong for Loss has gone wrong, but on the flip side, everything that can go right for Fury has done right. So it's a triangle on the top floor from the defense, only moments away from closing out the map. 7 rounds straight for Fury. An incredible performance, and you wouldn't know it looking at it. There's no reaction.
Come on, guys! 7 rounds in a row. Come on, you just beat Lowe's. on the first map. Coach is very happy about it, but like, where are the players at?
I'll be honest, I was hesitating for a second. I was like, wait.
Is it 7 rounds?
It was match point, right? They did just smash loss on their map pick, and I remember last night we were casting them, and they were jumping around. They were super excited. No, it's not a series win, but still snatching a map off loss. Incredible performance, and look at the round history. We're not going crazy. They did win 7 in a row. The attacking half was awesome. Defense, they backed it up. And if Lost don't switch on, this could somehow be a snappy 2-0 to Fury.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing that will change that, going from Oregon to Night Haven Lab, is a very different story in terms of how you play it out. But I think if you have that much confidence and gun skill in the server, I don't think it matters what map you end up playing on. You can still apply it to every single scenario. So I don't really see what's going to change unless those will change something here.
Normally it's the Crit J show for Fury, but like Colas absolutely popped up in this game. We'll see, though, if Fury can back it up on map number 2 after this short break.
Get top spot in the group. They can do so even still now by winning the next 2 maps. Unfortunately for Bleed, they are really meeting their maker, and I'm doing as much of a job as I can to fill out while you replace your headset. I think I've timed this just about perfectly, Parker. You look like a mechanic underneath the car that is fixing.
The only downside to this headset, by the way, is that now I think I'm unmuted. I think they'd hard muted me. So I said I was a tinkerer. I've been tinkering with this headset. The only downside to this headset is the cord is much shorter, so we're gonna have to get real cozy up in here, which is okay. If this one breaks, you can just put the headset on the table and we can just take turns talking into the stage.
Yeah, and look, honestly, a little bit disappointing from Bleed. It's very difficult to find the positives in a 0-5 moment, but it's mainly because Virtus Pro have been able to just turn the ship around. It really does highlight, again, a team that has so much experience, and they've clearly not really let that skyscraper affect them.
Yeah, no, not at all. And again, it really comes back to this map. I do not like the way that Bleed is playing Bank here. I don't like the way they're holding map control. I don't like how invested or lack of invested they are on the roam. But I mean, you got the Pulse roaming, you got a Nitro cell, and for the first time, Bleed is going to draw First Blood uncontested.
Yeah, and better there as well. I like the Pulse. It's a more of an aggressive defensive operator too, something we haven't seen from Bleed. They've really kind of gone into their shells a little bit, hence why they found themselves in this position. Nitrocell from third and a follow-up from Holvin earlier, but it is unsuccessful. Really trying to play this vert control, especially with the impacts that Asfi has as well on the Solars, who's done an amazing job. Only 3 drones remaining with 1:20 seconds. But Virtus Pro up above, as always, is running around with Kit and Mentalist with a nice little yellow ping.
Lots of information being gained from these Valkyrie cams. And you've essentially doubled up on information with the Pulse and the Valkyrie, and then of course you got the Solus there too. No IQ being brought from Virtus Pro is a bit of a misstep. Saw the IQ that was used early on when they had some issues with those Valkyrie cameras. Turdstill's gonna swing, that's an ego peak. That is really a stupid idea from him. I don't know why he's doing that when he had that information. You wait. I mean, you're sitting on ATM, right? And you've got the Valkyrie camera right above you. Why are you swinging it? Just wait for them to peek you.
I think at that moment in time, when you kind of look at for Turdster individually, it's a moment of, can I get myself into the server? Can I get myself going here? I'm going to seek that contact. I'm going to go out of my way to try and find that kill. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work in this instance, but you think back to Skyscraper, and it was working. So back yourself in. Unfortunately, I think you're right though, Parker. In that moment, you have the Valcam. You can just allow them to push back in. Reeves is down. So this is actually a 1 versus 4. For all intents and purposes, that start that Bleed had has been evaporated. Virtus Pro once again have been able to get full map control, full site control. Mentalist doesn't even really have the time to go for this revive. Fakes it, maybe expecting the drop, didn't come through. They don't need to. VP's got sight. They're getting plant down. There's 4 people sitting inside a staff room in open area right now, and that is going to be the half. And it's a 6-0 half, Parker, unless Mentalist arguably gets one of the greater clutches that we've seen in some time.
I mean, he's in a 1v5 earlier, now he's in a 1v4. He's got a castle barricade stopping him as well, and I mean, he's still laughing. They're maintaining good spirits, and I think that's very important for Bleed, as even if Mentalist can collect a couple largely impactless kill, hold on a second here. Now he's got Shepard and Dan next to find, but the problem is that they're split up. They're not on the floor, they're above, and the diffuser is without of reach. Only 3 seconds for him to get on it, and there's no way for him to do it. Shepard was perfect above. And that's 5 of 6 rounds where VP was able to get the diffuser down. Yeah, they might have given up first blood in that fateful 6th round, but at the end of the day, I think you walk away from that first half extremely pleased. That is one of the most dominant first halves. One of the most dominant halves, doesn't matter whether it was first or second, that we have seen from any team, period. And yeah, I think you might be spot on with Turdstar. I mean, he's 1-5 right now, which is well below where he should be as a player and well below where he has been all of this group stage. So maybe he's trying to shake himself out of whatever funk he's currently in. I'm not certain, but VP skating through that first half, up 6-0. Clubhouse is all but guaranteed at this point. All VP needs to do is win a single round on the second most defender-favored map. Yeah, and they're on defense, by the way. Just in case anybody doesn't have the visual component, VP is on defense. They just need to win a
defense is good. Defense is strong. We like defense. And for Virtus Pro, I mean, a sensational half, really. Didn't really make that many mistakes, if any, that I could really notice that were probably as bad as some of the ones we saw back with Skyscraper, such as Shepard, when we obviously was just ignorant of the Montank buff. So that's a good highlight of what we haven't seen from Virtus Pro here on Bank. And really, again, highlighting how good they can be at this tournament is about as good as anyone else. Like, they are at that kind of level when they are on song, when they are playing the way that we are seeing right now. And that's also a credit, because it's not like Bleed are a bad roster. There's probably some people tuning in right now and it's like, oh, 6-0 team against an APAC team. But there's a reason why one of those arrows is lit up in blue next to Bleed. They were so good back on Skyscraper. They were so dominant. They made it so difficult for Virtus Pro. But the same has now been reversed over here on Bank. This is a bit of a throwaway game, clearly, for Bleed. Again, they've not won a single map against the opposition at this tournament. Now, that is a concern for me going into the playoffs. Something that is fixable, though.
I was remarking about this in the green room yesterday, and it's like teams that we have very high expectations of are making very basic mistakes throughout these group stages. And I do wonder if it's just because there's been such a long period of time between Professional and Rainbow Six Siege. If scrim quality has declined in a number of regions, you've effectively gone 3.5 months without getting proper reps in. And there's been some huge changes to the game in that time. Number one, the grenade change is massive. That alone can be the culprit as to why we've swung towards such an aggressively defender-sided meta. Then the introduction of another strong defender means that you're going to have trouble on attack. General conventional wisdom is that it's easier to defend than it is to attack across this game.
It is. So the other part of it, though, as well, is if you're a team like Bleed, how often do you get to go up against teams like Virtus Pro? How often are you going up against a bit of an onslaught in terms of the attacking nature?
Now, by the way, I highlighted why you might keep a Goyo canister in back pocket, and it's for that exact reason. Yep. You just saw all of those canisters that were strewn about the site gone. But it's going to be an interesting one here. Bleed hits the deck, and they'll rush through Vault to equalize. Shepard dies, Reaps trades right out. Dan is there, and you cannot shake him from this spot. There's another, though, inside of Vault. Now, Mentalist is in the site, but neither him nor Hoven.
Well, there's another one there, Mentalist. Oh,
they don't have access to the diffuser.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a lack of information because of the fast-paced nature of the round, and it's also a fast-paced nature of the map. Virtus Pro leaving no stone unturned in a little bit of a bounce back after a poor Skyscraper. They really flex their muscles. They show the level that they can reach here at 6 Invitational.
An impressive showing, but if you anticipate that you win your map and lose your opponents, then Bleed's got them right where they want them. Clubhouse, familiar territory for Virtus Pro, as they might have just seized momentum with a very impressive 7-0. We will have one final map in these group stages. Who will win, Bleed or VP? We'll find out in just a couple minutes.
Well, it was 7 rounds straight for Fury against the map pick of Lost. The stage has been set, Nick, for an intriguing best of 3. Certainly not the result we expected here on map 1.
No, I think if people were watching the first 2 rounds, thinking Lowe's, they're gonna just storm over Fury and take them down easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Well, round 3 started, and all of a sudden, that was no longer true. We saw a switch up in Fury with their coordination, their teamwork, and their confidence. Just as we see here, taking down the bomb site in style. And ever since they got going, they never slowed down or stopped.
Now, sometimes when a team gets off to a good start and end up losing the map, sometimes we frame it as perhaps being a little bit of a throw. But I think in this instance, Fury stepped it up. They countered their opponents well. Lost weren't playing particularly poorly. It was really a case of Fury doing a great job.
No, I fully agree with you. I don't want to take anything away from Fury here. I do think that Lowe's were, not hitting their shots because they were being outgunned simply by their opposition. And Fury Lowe's tried a couple different things. They tried the Blitz, they tried the Munty, they tried No Shield, and nothing really came with success. You see the scoreline? Like holies. If you invested in this man before the series started, you were in good luck here. 12-4, and no one's really falling behind. I mean, you have 7, 6, 6, and 6 kills, and the rest of the squad, it was pretty much a team effort, plus like Holies having a stellar game.
No, we mentioned him before, of course, but again, just to double down, especially if you are just joining us, heading into the day, like Halls had a 0.75 Siege GG rating, negative 34 KD. Now, again, he can often play more supportive roles, so with that sometimes comes a poorer stat line, but he really stepped it up in this game. And he was actually one of the key players and probably the turning point in this matchup, denying that rush through blue, stringing those couple of rounds together. Fantastic performance from him. And equally, on the side of Lost, Cameraman probably shouldn't be topping that team either. Again, the lowest rated player on that roster. So we've flipped the narrative upside down, not just in the map veto, but inside of the server as well. But I suppose as we prepare now for Labs Fury's pick, will they double down here and close out this series?
That's what they're hoping for, right? I mean, the quicker the better, reserve the energy, hide some of those strats in the maps, etc., and just have more time to rest, really, because things are going to start happening. Tomorrow, it's going to be an off day for everybody, but day after that, phase 2 begins, and so will these teams who are going to end up playing each other. So, yeah, looking for a quick 2-0.
And again, to reiterate the stakes of this particular matchup, second versus third, whoever wins will be elevated into that second position, and you get the privilege then for your next match in the playoff bracket to select a third place team from any of the other groups. So this is pretty important. If you play your cards right, it can give you a huge boost in the bracket.
Imagine you can say, I want to play that team. Yoink! And then you say, okay, we're going to look at the VODs, we're going to see what maps they like to play, we're going to ban these, prepare that. That's every team's favorite scenario. How often can you handpick your opponent? Well, some things change, some things don't, but the poll too will be different this time. Was it 70-30 last time? Now it's 59-41, so a little more faith here on Fury's side. I'd like to see it because they do deserve it after that showcasing on Oregon.
Well, let's jump into things then. Nighthaven Labs, the pick of Fury, and they'll be kicking it off on defense. So that's also, strangely enough, back-to-back maps where the other team has elected to start attack first.
Yeah, I think the only thing about starting attack is that the defender side of the team has to ban the first attacker. So if that, for some reason, plays into your strategy, let's say that Lowe's, they want to ban Dokkaebi, but they know that Fury likes to ban Dokkaebi. Well, you force Fury to ban the first attacker, then you get a free attacker ban if they ban your operator for you. But I wouldn't say Nighthaven Labs or Oregon is typically a map where that plays out. It's more like, let's say you're playing Clubhouse and you know that they like to ban Thatcher. If they ban the Thatcher, you ban the Maverick, it's hard to attack all of a sudden. So I don't really see this coming into play, really. But either way, the teams will do the things that they will do, and they'll both get to play both sides after 6 rounds, of course. But Dokkaebi, followed by Twitch, and then Lowe's will ban their defender, which will be... Subaru.
I was almost thinking it was going to be the mirror, right? Because we did see the mirror played previously on Oregon. The Twitch wasn't necessarily leaned into by Fury, who were attacking in that instance, but of course, a critical tool in countering that alongside the Ash. It's Valkyrie to round things off as we prep ourselves to jump into the map. I must say, Two-Brow is a pretty intriguing ban. I think prior to the nerf, we were probably anticipating a huge presence for Two-Brow, but now post-nerf, hasn't quite been as oppressive as we once thought.
You know what I mean? I think when I think of Tuberal, I feel like there's Clubhouse, Nighthaven Lab, and Skyscraper comes to mind. Where I'm thinking, okay, it can be kind of difficult. There's a lot of heart reaching going on. It's a very big priority. And also, the first step on most attacks on Nighthaven Lab is gonna be to find the first exterior wall that's reinforced and breach it open. And if you're met, like right here, the double ult CZ, if you're met with a reinforced wall with a Tuberal bandit behind it, it's just such an annoying thing to deal with. Same with connector here as well. So by removing that from play on the attacking side, you can now run up to the building, play Thatcher and Ace, force things open in quick fashion. You don't have to play Maverick, even though we know Cameraman loves to play Maverick and actually will play it regardless of that being the case. It's gonna speed things up really and give you one less playstyle to have to worry about on the attack.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
So top floor we go, and with that mirror in play, I'm intrigued to see how the attack will look to deal with it. No Ash directly encountered, the Twitch banned out, so there's going to be a reliance probably on Maya, on the Ace, to dislodge that position if required, outside of the other more traditional forms of utility. Double frag grenades for Dash, some flashbangs available for Loban as well, but with so many key positions to dislodge on an objective like top floor, I think Lost are going to have to be very careful in how they sort of budget that utility throughout the round.
Well, certainly. And yeah, as we mentioned, the first step here, open up the hard walls. Maverick will do that without any help, of course. Maybe some cover for the feet Cs if you want to later on, but Cameraman with Stone Holgren, he does a pretty quick trick here on the walls and the hatches. It shouldn't be a big issue at all. If you're just kind of sitting back waiting, they don't need to act upon this exterior of the map. They got poles downstairs room with the scanner, they got mirrors on the bomb side, and a really good read here, I9 on the Oryx, a direct counterplay to the Monty, if of course you can get close enough to go for that Oryx dash. And if not, it's always good to have a good gun, secondary shotgun, and of course the fastest operator in the game. So many benefits here of bringing the Oryx.
Yeah, not an operator that we see a lot, but is often, you know, key part of the round, for better or for worse for the defense. Back to the Maverick we go, and Cameraman with so much experience should make quick work of the IT breach. He does so right at the halfway point of the round. So groundwork from Lost done, and the next step will be probably gaining a little bit of information just to ensure that everyone's kind of where they should be in terms of, you know, expected positions from the defense, and then of course executing on the play to dislodge them.
Right now it's lows mostly on the east side of the map. We see Dash downstairs at the IQ, and my big question mark later on this round will be the impact of Crit J on the poles. We see it's going to be like the cat and mouse game, where it's Crit J on the poles versus Dash and IQ, kind of trying to avoid one another. Of course, Poles wants to be in a position to use his C4 vertically, but if IQ is there to stop him, that's not going to be the case. With 50 seconds left, time certainly is taken down. We see Dots advancing to the mirror though, punching it to shatter it. Some much goes out, but the Oryx dash, the caught by surprise, we spoke about it. The one great counter to Monty is if you can get close to him with an Oryx, and I9 does just that by hiding the operator on the side the entire round.
Oh, Fury do a good job in isolating that shield. And Lost now on the back foot, but they don't have a lot of time to recover this round. 20 seconds on the clock. Dash will sneak up the blue stairs. Maya will sneak into IT. So they're trying to catch this defense off guard to give themselves the advantage. But Fury hold firm. They're ready. They're waiting. Open arms. Flawless from Fury. And that's now an 8-round streak across 2 maps.
That it is, and not just that, but that was a pole shotgun, by the way. I'm not sure that's on anybody's bingo card, but if it was, congratulations, you get a point, because we do not see a pole shotgun almost ever. But also, again, you see there the frustration, because when you're playing Monty, it is so easy to feel overly comfortable and confident, because there are so few things that can take you down. But one of the things, that's going to be the Oryx. And the thing that happened there from Lois is Dots wasn't patient enough. You're supposed to have a gun behind you in the Monty, so absolute worst case, you'll be Oryx dashed, and you know, the teammates of Oryx will shoot the Monty, but the gun behind the Monty will shoot the Oryx. You trade 1 for 1 effectively. But there was no gun behind Dots. He was way off on his own, so he dies for nothing, and Plan A goes down the drain. And it didn't really seem to be a very strong Plan B there from Lois. And we also saw the end of that round. It was a flawless. Everything went in the way of Fury. From the very beginning, they predicted the Monty by playing the Oryx. They had a really good read, maybe prep work here for Lowe's attack.
Storage would go then for the second round of this encounter. As time goes on, the grasp that Lost once had on this matchup long ago, it's very much slipped. Can they fight their way back into this match though? And again, fight for second spot here in Group D, have the opportunity to pick a third place team from another group for their next matchup, as you mentioned. Opportunity to prepare, refresh, get ready for that game. But if they lose this, maybe they'll be stewing on what has been an unexpected result, at least thus far. But a huge opportunity still for Lost to bring this back. Let's not write them off just yet.
Mind you, Lowe's have played laps twice so far in this tournament against Scars and Falcons, and actually lost 5-7 against Scars. So I'm sure that this prep work is free. Look at those VODs saying, hey, there is something we can do about this in these kind of rounds here. If we see these operators or we expect a certain push. So prep work certainly seems to be paying off now, but it will be cameraman. Not who's supposed to be doing the entry job per se, but the man who gets it done, he finds the opening kill for his team.
Ooh, almost traded though. It's Crit J pistol in hand. As the shotgun, well, I was going to say in the pocket, but probably on the back. Doesn't matter though, unable to use it. Maya finds a clean headshot onto that star player from Fury. And we haven't probably said this for a long time, but Lost have a pretty significant advantage in this round. We'll see though if they can convert, because Fury are not going down without a fight in this one.
Comes on timing now, reading the tempo of the map. If the flank can be good here from BG Man, when Dash isn't watching him on the top fish stairs, that could be a way in here for a flank potential. Also, once he forced the pocket of BG Man, could take down the box, for example, on the vertical play. But Fury, he had to make a practice play somewhere. Things will surely fall apart in the two, just that the timing is not there. I9 falls, BG Man takes a fair bit of damage, and now the gig is up. They gotta rotate around. Dark instead going for a very long flank here, but that too will be watched. No, actually, sorry, that's Dash across the map, but Dark now is the last man standing upstairs with nothing to do. Well, it's not flawless.
A flawless response from Lost after a flawless start to the map from Fury. So settle in, we could have a series on our hands here if Lost can continue to produce that attacking flair here on Labs. As we look at the replay package, let's jump into it. And that was, of course, the back end of the round, the retake attempt from Dark, or the flank attempt from Dark, rather, shut down. Even if it was successful, of course, the rest of the team on the objective had fallen at that point in time. Round 3, we go then. And it's basement in play. And for me, this is probably where the mirror could be the most effective in this matchup. Again, keeping in mind, Twitch banned out. So what will Lost do in response?
That is indeed the question. Now, I actually expected it to go like top of bombs of CC, down to basement, then stock territory. But instead, a little flipped here. Basement as the third option after losing on the previous round. Often we see like a lot of C4s downstairs, bit of a soft roam upstairs, try and use the verticality, force the roam clear, and it's why we keep seeing Lowe's play the Jackal, for example. It was Cameraman last round, now it's Maya. They're trying to gain an advantage here early on, find those opening kills, and it worked so well last time. And I think, given how Oregon played out, the more guns you can remove from action from the side of Fury, the better off you are. So I like this approach where you're trying to single out the roamers, try and gain that advantage and slow things down.
Well, this attack will be spearheaded from the top floor, at least initially. Once again, the Jackal being employed from Lost. This time, though, it's Maya to fill that role elsewhere. A gunfight, and Dark on the receiving end of a little bit of damage. Solace spotted out. Who else but Dark? He'll fall back, but can still gather information from the basement floor and relay that to the rest of the team.
That's most of the roam gone, though. We just see BG Man and Crit J helping one another, but it's time to leave, they say. Hit that soft mark of 2 minutes left, and maybe that just says it's time to go. You're playing this fine line of sticking around long enough to kill some drones and fall back, but also, if you overstay your welcome, you have no way to fall back, and you will eventually die on the roam unless you play a 1 versus 5. The good news is, with half the round burned and 5 drones, or half of those also dying, at that, it means that I would say Furious roaming here relatively successful. The only downside for them is that there's both Sledge and the Bug in play here, so the vertical self-destruction will be extremely quickly towards the bomb site.
Now the smoke to come out from Maya as the breach is exposed behind him. The diffuser now has a route towards the default plant position, but of course, with 5 members of the defense still standing, Fury should have eyes on that position. And as he mentioned, the vertical play from up above will be critical for Loss. A big win condition for them is clearing out these spots and making sure they can't be held by Fury. Dark will respond though with the P90, and Loban as well takes a lick of damage, so he'll need to be mindful for the remainder of this round. 4 versus 4, now a 4v3 as Critj offside finds 1. It is traded out though from Loss, so good work from them, but now they have a man disadvantage. Maya wants to try and get that plant down, but the Fenrir has something to say about it. Still good for 1 though. Cameraman though is a fair way away, and he'll need to link up on this attack. Footholds to the left, I believe being held. It's Lycolis who needs to make sure that his reaction time's on point. The plant goes down, and that's the trigger for Lycolis to move. Nitro Cell lobbed over the top. Maya falls off the plant though, and he'll survive. Cameraman cover though. In the meantime, Dark's been allowed to push forward, but good communication means that he will fall. Lycolis has been a fantastic player in this series so far. He's been allowed to cross the diffuser though. It's stuck. Cameraman now 1 versus 1 with 1 HP. Can he win this fight? Lycolis is going to stick the counter defuse. Cameraman can't find line of sight. And Lycolis continues to farm.
One of the funny things about playing the newer maps is that, when you hard know all the angles, the pixels, where you can play post plans, what the angles look like, things like that probably wouldn't happen, but this is still a relatively new map. Cameraman, being the veteran that he is, was like, I'm going to do the smart play. I'm going to run back up staircase. I'm going to hold this from vertical control, but the floor not fully breached for that position, and he also only had a single HP left in his bar. The cover wasn't really there from Lowe's. Maya had to do the planting duty and getting the kills and covering himself. He was doing so much work, and Fury again with a great read with this, say, okay, Cameraman's only got 21 bullets, he's got a reload, let's just sprint in and take the confrontation with Maya, and it really paid off again. The confidence, the 3-2-1 countdown, and the synergy was there for them. They're hiding the Oryx. Expecting the Monty.
You reckon that's what they did last time against the Monty? I was going to bring it up as a talking point, right? Did they hide it? Is that why the Monty wasn't then picked off by the attack? Is that why the Monty was on the island?
They droned the entire bomb site, and the second they did, they said, hey, we don't see an Oryx. Dots went from Sledge to Monty the same second, but they misdroned the Oryx again. So they probably have seen 4 defenders and been like, oh, last time they played this thing, surely there's not going to be an Oryx, right? But there is an Oryx in play. So if I9 can stay hidden throughout this entire round, we could see the same thing happen again. So the big question is, will Dots call for backup and have the patience to wait and not just assume there's no Oryx in play?
They want to read though from Fury.
Yes, exactly that.
Obviously no way in which the defense can tell what that attacking composition is going to be. So that's some pretty high level siege from both teams, but of course benefiting Fury on this occasion because it was simply an unfortunate read from Loss. Conwall opened up though to kick off this round. Hard breach hasn't really been a main talking point in this particular match so far because it's been relatively proficient from Loss. Again, a lot of it, as is naturally the case here on Labs, coming down to the late round trade game, as well as being able to hold on in the post. And that last round, again, very unfortunate for Cameraman, playing that flank watch role, not in an optimal position. Tried his best to hold it on the vert, didn't quite work out. So we'll see if he is able to reset going forward. Back on the hard breach, and both walls now opened up.
It's a more cautious Lowe's this time. A lot of droning going on right now, a lot of intel trying to be gathered, and I do believe the gig is up. I believe they've seen the Oryx now. There's a drone on the chassis inside the bomb site right next to I9, so unless the drone for some reason just doesn't have the clear view, then the gig should be up here. Near side from the Fenrir. FNAT will not do a whole lot here against the Monty, and the College falls a lot to Maya. Maya doing a great job so far. 5 kills to his name. And here it is. It's Loban. It's a Bug, not the Monty this time. So things have been figured out from Lowe's. They're not making that same mistake twice. This time there's backup. So if the dash goes out, it should be a trade at worst.
Oh, here is the dash, but it doesn't matter. I9 tucked around the corner. It's a free kill for the Oryx, and he doubles down for more. Normally you'd be holding that with a shotgun, but it doesn't matter. Still able to farm. Round over. They hid the Oryx. It worked to perfection. And Fury, I don't blame them, giggling after another successful top floor defense.
I was so sure that Jones saw him, but I guess I was wrong because there's no way that Dots will walk up like that with disrespect and say, oh, I'm not gonna die here, because again, he does. And there was a gun behind him, the Buck, Lobin, but because you're in the doorway, you don't fly back in the room. You can start on the door frame so I9 stays safe, and then Lobin gets swung right after. I mean, they're getting picked apart by a single operator counter pick, which is pre-picked before the round even started.
I mean, the nature of Siege, it's a deeply complex game, and sometimes that counterplay between operators isn't as apparent as it is in that very, exact case study, right? It's not every day of the week that you see Oryx on the board to counter shields, and back-to-back times from Fury, they've been able to pull it off, and then you add that extra layer of them hiding it in the preparation phase, just makes it even more satisfying
10 seconds
for the
left before
defense,
insertion.
and probably even more frustrating for loss. Round 5, we go then. Kitchen in play. Fury have won
Attackers are moving
10
out to locate a bomb
of the
and
last
defuse it.
11 rounds, or 11 of the last 12 rounds. No, 10 of the last 11, if my math is correct, because they had the 7-round streak on map 1,
Yes.
and Loss have only collected 1 here on Labs so far. Now that's understandable. We're not sitting here expecting Loss necessarily to stack attacking rounds here on Labs. It is ultimately Fury's pick. But if they want to be a chance in keeping this series alive, 2 attacks is going to best position them, at minimum, to really push Fury in the second half.
Yeah, the big question mark here for Fury is that if they can get those tertiary bombs at victory, they couldn't do it on stock, they're now trying Kitchen instead. Kitchen, statistically, historically, the weakest bomb site on this map so far. It will be a phenomenal place to get a victory and go 4-1, but also the most difficult challenge of all. Now, the great thing about countering the Monty is that those they love playing Monty, it's a big win condition for them, and they're willingly not playing the Operator because they've been countered 2 out of 3 attempts essentially, both combining Oregon and Nighthaven Lab. So you have really forced him to go into a different kind of playstyle right now, which is gonna take some changing in the team. Who's gonna play in what positions, who's playing which operators, because Maya, Dots, and Cameraman are all flexing across so many different operators, because right now nothing's really working. So I could see this being a difficult, frustrating point for Lowe's, because damn, they keep changing up, the result stays the same. Dots though, from Muncie to injured Ash finds 2 kills, Dash with a 3rd as well, and all of a sudden, just like that, you give Dots a gun, he will get stuff done.
Well, Dark's up above, and he's able to at least pluck 1. Crit J moves over towards lobby. Also good for another. So a 2 versus 2 then. 70 seconds remain in this round. Cameraman and Dash. A lot of experience between these two. Can they take it up against Fury is the question. Fortunately, they have a lot of time to try and isolate these defenders, try and place them on an island, collect that diffuser, think about how they want to get into the objective. So we'll see how they execute this one.
Yeah, they had diffuser. I don't think they realized when Fury. Now they gotta play retake 2v2, and the vert control's not gonna matter. They're playing deep inside of Kitchen, so it's gonna be a brawl on the bomb set, and Crit J crossing the rotate takes a lot of damage. Not the start that they wanted for defense.
40 seconds then on the fuse, and Crit J low. Forced to shoulder peek the angle in an attempt to gain some information, likely to get Dark in on the action. He has the shotgun in hand, so his impact may be limited as well, unless he's able to hit some nice, clean shots. Lost look a little bit awkward here in the post, both players prone, but it may not matter, as Dark will fall. Crit J, though, almost able to get the second, but a wayward spray is punished, and Loss win the round.
Very, very close. It comes down to a 1v1 despite that early triple kill or 3 kills across Lowe's attack and lineup. And these attacks, I mean, they look okay fundamentally, but not with the most confidence. They keep gaining early man advantages like we see right here, and still it comes down to a 1v1, so things really slipping from them despite finding early openings. Normally when a team can find a kill 2 or 3, the conversion rate to a comfortable round victory should be like 80% plus. The fact that Lowe's are almost losing rounds with a significant advantage is not a good look.
Certainly not. But at least they have reached that benchmark, I suppose we could call it, of two attacking rounds. Might be ugly, it might not be the prettiest of attacking rounds, but at the end of the day, you'll take any win you can on that side. Can they extend that to 3 though? Because if they do, I reckon Fury, for perhaps the first time in this series, maybe outside of the first 2 rounds of Oregon, will actually probably begin to feel some genuine pressure. It is their map pick. They are expected to win this, and in doing so, close out the series 2-0. But loss, we can't deny how good this team is. For God's sake, they were at the Atlanta Grand Final, so
Exactly.
if there's any team to bring this one back, it's probably them.
It's also why we have to be a little bit critical of when players or the team as a whole are underperforming below expectations, because they did just come out of nowhere in Atlanta and we're like, okay, win the finals, you know, no big deal, etc. Up against W7M, right, the best team in the world the last year, basically. And now they go to having a hard time getting second place in groups. It's why we're like, hey, what's going on here? Mine not having a very great tournament. Logan right now 0-4. Those individually, they can't still hit that stride the same way as in Atlanta. Of course, there's been some meta changes. You know, defense is a higher win rate. The teams you're up against are playing differently as well, and just different teams overall. So a lot of factors to account for here. But they are trying to even things out, try and get that 3-3 half split. And right now, really quick pace inside the building, trying to figure out what the roamers are. They're also trying BT-Man with that, so things are starting off well for them.
Ooh, Logan. Be careful, because there's a defender close by. Crit J is the first to find a kill for Fury, just as things seem like they will peter out for the defense. He throws his team a lifeline. Dark and Crit J, both off site. And it's Dark to find a kill. It's a headshot onto Dot, so it's a hard breach taken down. Maya still having 3 summers available though, so he may be able to employ those. Dark using his scanner to find information as Crit J continues on this roam off site. The Fuser recovered by loss. 70 seconds now to go for the final push. Thought there was going to be a moment there where Maya would make contact with Crit J, but not for now.
I like that Crit J is playing this very slow, whereas Dark was playing it super fast, trying to get back towards the bombs, because now if you're lows, you're probably thinking, I don't think there's any roamers left, because Dark is near the bomb set staircase, but they haven't really seen Crit J in quite some time. These are things that are hard to keep track of. They're still dry peeking corners, thinking someone's there, but the intel is there for Crit J. The FNAT was triggered. He knows somebody was just inside that kitchen area, and it doesn't appear the attackers have any idea of flying this coming. Crit J might be good for 1, maybe even 2 kills if he can play it right.
30 seconds though, and he gets caught off, but he hits the flick! How the hell has that landed? Lycolis now just needs to lock down sight and give his teammate an opportunity to run Rampage off site. Cameraman and Maya, can they push through? 10 seconds on the clock, and Cameraman falls. 3 kills for Crit J. Lycolis given a freebie, and Fury cap off another strong half.
Perfect roam game there, where you're kind of doing the switch and bait. One guy falls back, one guy's upstairs, late round flank, but I don't know how Crit J got away with that. He's walking past, trying to get that staircase to the double kill, gets shot at by Lobin, but the Kiva barrier blocked him. He had to advance his position, and in the midst of that split second, he hits the flick. Again, things look good for lows, things fall apart, they don't stabilize, and Fury get a 4-2 half. Sure, it's defense, but this is exactly where they want to be.
And there's been a decent amount of moments like that, I think, for us to make the blanket statement that mechanically speaking, Fury have gotten away with murder in multiple
so many
rounds.
times.
And they've been big, impactful moments. Again, that's not like a throwaway frag where Fury are at like a 2-5 disadvantage run and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. That was a definitive moment in the round. He loses that. More than likely, Lycolis gets overwhelmed and traded on site. Very, very different story. But the fact that he was able to win that, and on top of the fact that he still had control up above and he got another pick after that.
Exactly that.
Hugely impactful. And for loss, again, on the flip side, very, very frustrating. Or potentially frustrating. Heading into this defensive half, I'm eager to see if they'll be able to brush that half off.
Yeah, I saw Fury were looking at different operators here. The Monty was a question mark for them, but instead they opt for more Heartbeat Destruction. The Maverick and Hibana, bunch of soft utility as well. This way, by playing Ashe, Sophia, and the Buck, if you lose one of those soft breachers, you have many other operators that can do the job for you as well. Now, interesting note here, Lowe's have left the exterior walls of the bomb site soft because there are mirror windows overwatching them from deep inside the site itself. But while that goes on, Dark somehow finds an opening peak upstairs near the room as well. So Solus, Lopin, 0-6 now, no impact on the frag board, at least in this game in particular. And now the intel inside comes out, where the FNATs are, where things are going to be happening. Both the door and window are barricaded. If Fury have a good read in the situation, they can certainly establish a plan. But the thing is, there is a mirror window, so they have to rotate Dark there. But he's basically killing everybody on the roam.
Dark is on fire at the moment. Cameraman being hunted down top blue. 2 players on this position. He is able, though, to at least find one. Elsewhere, though, BG Man finds one for Fury. Maya forced back towards site. Cameraman off site as well. Fury should know that the objective is clear. Lycolos will make his way down into that default position. Cameraman falls, and he's good for 2. He's 3rd in the round. Is there another twist in the tail of this round? Cameraman, so experienced. He's been able to win out clutches like this before, but this will be a challenge. So many angles that he needs to clear, mindful that there could be one outside the breach, but both attackers have vacated back towards EXO, and in fact, I9 heading up to Vert. Lycolos knows there's one that's run past. I don't know how that has been allowed to happen.
What's happening?
But I9's ready for it, and he collects the kill.
They were chasing one another. I mean, I get this. Island's playing above avert control, can pop the floor, deny the plant. That is really good post-plant positioning from the attacking side. And Cameraman with the experience says, I should chase after. Because even if I get the kill on side, I can't go for the fuse. But the real hero of that round was Stark. He found 2 kills on the roam, died to the 3rd. And dying in that position is actually a good thing, because it goes, hey guys, there's still 1 roamer left. That means only 1 single player is on the bomb side. And with that intel, we saw Fury is sprint in with 2 people. 2 more join from hatch drop later on. And yeah, Cameraman almost had the perfect flank, but it didn't matter. They were in a strong plant position. The crossfire was there. And the post-plant played vertically was just the cherry on top.
Again, we say time and time again that attacking rounds can often come at a premium. A good start there from Fury. Again, they're just reading their opponent really, really well. They always seem to have a grasp as to what Loss are trying to achieve in these rounds, having a perfect read.
10 seconds remaining.
Now, it's one thing to have the read, it's also another thing to have the solutions in place to deal with
execute.
But they've also been doing that as well, almost faultlessly throughout this series. So full credit to Fury, they've played incredibly well so far. And as long as they keep applying this pressure to Loss, they're a fair chance at winning this series 2-0.
The thing is, Fury's not going to win this round. I'll tell you why. It's very simple. Crit J's on Blitz. He has a 0% win rate on this operator in this best of 3 so far. He played in the opening round in Oregon, and they lost the round in 20 seconds. Now, I could just be a Crit J Blitz hater, but actually, I am not. I am a Crit J with a real gun enjoyer, okay? Just want to put that out there. This guy's phenomenal. He should not be on Blitz duty. Or what do I know?
Well, we'll wait and see. You may have done the inverted cast curse, where you said he's going to do bad and now he might do alright. So, we'll wait and see.
Prove me wrong, Crit J.
No Oryx for Loss, and that was what Fury employed on their defense to counter the Montang on that occasion 2 times. So it might actually be a little bit challenging for Loss to deal with this. 1 Nitro available. That's in the hands of Dash. I suppose as well the Fenrir mines may stall the progress of the shield as well. Dots on Warden, of course, a hard counter. So it'll be important that Crit J elects to target the right defender. Dash is close by. He's in electrical. Fury working con at the moment.
When they're not being opened up though, so Dash can stay on the offense, but Ironline again, opening kill goes into Maya, that's Catwalk player, I believe, and now Dark and Blitz just follow along, but Cameron downstairs finds a vertical kill, I believe, or something like that, yeah, indeed downstairs, so that's the oversight right there. Dash's electrical was not shut down, window wasn't opened, so therefore he punishes Furious advance.
I will say, it certainly feels like this objective of all on Labs probably employs the least vertical play. So good innovation there from Cameraman to deny the blitz, which clearly is a big win condition for Fury in this round. Minute on the clock, though. Can they produce something special to bring it back?
Lost Critchy on the blitz. 50 seconds left, and now we gotta see the other players step up. Dark is so good so far. I-92, Acid, Speech Man, all three so formidable, and to get 1-for-1 trade here. Still in favor of Lowe's in defense, however.
There'll be a final push here then from Fury, and a tough one at that. One spotted at the pillar, and you would suspect that there's another close on the doorway. I9 certainly does. Second player on an island. Cameraman 1 versus 2. Now 1 versus 1. Another clutch attempt here from Cameraman. Dark forced to go for the plant. Cameraman, does he expect the bait? Probably does, but Dark is going to stick all 7 seconds. He's now forced, though, to hold down the line and play for time. His teammate giving calls, I think. Some information available, perhaps, to Dark. The Keeper barrier making things potentially a little bit more challenging here for Cameraman as they look to exchange blows. Cameraman, 1 shot away from death. Can Dark find that final shot? He will. And Fury went back-to-back attacks.
The clutches, the 1v1s, the 2v2s, they don't seem to be phased by who their opponent is. And to kind of draw a story for when I say APAC, right? Not like the individual regions in between, but just APAC as a bigger region. Bleed is in a similar position as well, where they don't care who they're up against. They don't care if it's a 1v1, if it's a game that matters, or the stakes are high. They're having fun and playing their own game, and that's their strength right now. It seems like both Fury and Bleed in that same position where they just simply do not care who their opponent is, and it's really working out for them. Now Lowe's down 2-6. Called their tactical timeout, but this is really late.
Man, I need a breather. I tell you what, I am quite happy that we have an off day tomorrow because we've had some pretty hype moments in this game where I've had to get pretty animated and my voice feels like it's on the edge of already being destroyed. It's been like 1.5 maps, but...
We got tomorrow off, yeah?
Yeah.
Give it a rest day here. We've had, of course, 5 days of action. We've all had 1 day off each, I believe. And, I mean, same with players, right? It's been some long days of some of these teams where you might as well wake up early, but you don't play till later on. And when you wake up in the morning as a player, you have this kind of this urge and this feeling, this like hunger that you wake up, you're nervous, you're excited, you know, all those things, and it's not really gonna go away until after you play the game. So if you play at like 4 p.m. local time, but you wake up at 8 a.m. to practice and get ready, you go all day with that feeling like, oh, you know, it really takes a toll on you. Like the second that Pro League map finishes, or match rather finishes, it's like, I'm ready to go straight to bed. You are exhausted emotionally, physically, mentally, because when you're in these rounds, there are so many things to keep track of, so many things to account for, and the stakes are so high at the 6 Invitational that you are just simply done after a best of 3 series.
Well, I tell you, who might be done after this next round. It's loss. I can't believe I'm saying those words, but Fury with 4 match points here on Nighthaven Labs to close out the series without dropping a map. 4 points to bolster them in the standings. They'll elevate into 2nd position. Not enough to chase down the Sonics, who had a flawless group stage here in Group D. 16 points for them and a plus 24 round differential, but still for Fury, an opportunity to pick their opponent, another 3rd place team from a different group, for their next game. Could be hugely influential in their run towards the live stage.
So, you know, Fox has been like the prediction master this entire event so far. Like, out of 40 games, he only got 4 wrong or something like that. He had Lowe's winning 2-0. That is how crazy this is, by the way. No one's seen this coming. Even Prediction Master Fox say he got this so wrong. He also called VP 2-0 over Bleed. Spoiler alert, that's not happening either, because they're playing on the other stream right now in Stream A, and they're already on a 3rd map, I believe. So, things are not going according to the script, like according to some people, but I'm here for it. Give me the chaos, give me the upsets, give me the surprise, Fury. But half the round to go, Dark again, opening kill after opening kill. He's not done bullying Lowe's.
By far and away, the MVP on this map might not be a huge number, but 9 kills, big 9 kills.
Oh no!
At that crit J. How's he been able to pull that one off? Despite being stunned, he wins the fight. And with a minute to go, the plant is going down. Fury, this could be a flawless conclusion to what has been an outstanding series. And indeed it is. Fury closing out this series against Lost in a 2-0 fashion. They'll finish second in their group. What a performance. What an unexpected performance at that.
Absolutely unbelievable. And I mean, the fact that they get second, like you brought up earlier, they get to choose their opponent out going into phase 2. They have so much confidence going into it. And I feel like being rewarded in the sense that they have their unique playstyle, their individual ways they do things. And now they say, guys, this system works. They're going to go into phase 2 feel like they actually have a legitimate shot at beating some of these teams where prior to this, they might have had a little bit of doubt because of varied results. So I really think this is what they might have needed to elevate their results of this event.
Well, I'll pick up on that point then about doubt, because for the side of Lost, does that now plant the seed of doubt for them? Of course, probably heading into this event with the expectation that they will make a deep run.
Yeah.
Rightly so. They made a major grand final. That's no tall feat. But now third in their group, this loss to Fury, no doubt detrimental in their confidence. How's that going to impact them?
I mean, I think you are correct in the fact that there is going to be some doubt. I think their first game they have in the second phase, when a team will pick them, they're going to sit there and go, this is bad, you know? And then they got to step up. If Los can overcome the first game or two in the second phase, I think they're going to be all right. But the thing is, that also could just be the thing that seals the deal here for them. It's a very tilting game to lose. So many rounds. I feel like Los, they looked like they were helpless. There was like nothing they could do. You try and break down, you know, the mistakes that Los made. It's like, well, Fury were just the better players. There are so many rounds and moments that were decided by sheer gun skill and micro decision making. The hard counter on the Monty 2 times in a row. That's Fury just being better.
I think it's fair to say that they outbrained and outplayed their opponents. Sometimes a series like this, again with the context surrounding it, we sometimes walk away and go, oh, they kind of cheesed it. The underdogs cheese their way to victory. By far and away, not the case in this series. Now, maybe I'm being a bit of an Asia shill. I know I cover the region, but I think they played really, really well. And the storyline for Fury, of course, is the fact that heading into 2024, Asia has lost a major slot. So you think about how well they're doing at the event so far, Bleed as well. I think that contest throughout the year is going to be incredibly competitive.
It's always an awkward talking point because, you know, it's recency bias. You see NA do well, you're like, why don't NA have more spots? Because this region's underperforming. And funny enough, like, we have NA teams, EU teams, MENA teams not really hitting the usual mark. And we go, well, Bleeder's showing up, Fury's showing up. What about them, you know? So it's always a complicated situation with how many spots you have because there are so many good teams.
Well, I'm glad the stats reflect that Dark with a 147 EPS.
Beautiful.
I think all 9 of those kills were probably insanely impactful, but Crit J and I9 not trailing too far behind. The same, though, can't be said for the spread of loss. It's Cameraman again at the top of the table for loss, and the remaining 4 players just not quite up to the task.
Yeah, so at Atlanta Major, when they're doing well, the times where Los were doing the best was Cameraman in the bottom going -10 with 50 plants, basically. And that's because if you're the quote-unquote supportive work, the flex player, if you're going to become the entry and the main gunner, something's not working in the front line. And look at these ratings from Naya, Dash, and Dots, and even Loben, 52, 55. These are some of the lowest scores I've seen so far at this event.
I think Loben was one of, if not the highest rated player at Atlanta. You look at that and it's shocking to see that he is on 55, really finding it difficult to find his way into this particular matchup. And I mean, even stepping back further and looking at the result as a whole, back-to-back 7-2s as well. Now, if there was ever going to be a team, the 7-2 back-to-back maps, obviously we would have said Lost, right? No one in their right mind would have said Fury. So this is a huge result. Obviously a seeding game, but still, I don't think we can emphasize more just how impactful and unexpected it is.
Yeah, whenever you can go seeding match, let's say that this was a seeding match and Los didn't care, just for theoretical sake. Well, fundamentally speaking, individual player skill, Los should still not lose 2-7. It shouldn't. So, just the fact that every player in Fury is positive here on the scoreboard, and basically every player from Los besides one is negative, it's like, whether you care or not, that should not be the outcome.
Well, the standings now have been finalized here for Group D, so let's have a look. Of course, unfortunately, the sole representatives of Japan in Scars have been knocked out of Six Invitational 2024. But with that match wrapped up, the 4 remaining spots now have been sorted. Any standouts for you?
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't say. I mean, I guess Lowe's being second place instead of Fury is the only real standout. I think between Falcons and Scars, it's like a 50-50 who you think might go home. Sonic's being on top, I think most people expected that. At least I had very big expectations from them, and they've really shown that they are a very capable team at this event.
Yeah, I think if I remember back to my predictions, I had Falcons out and maybe lost top of the group. So I've been done a little bit dirty in that regard, but it shaped up very, very interestingly. Anyway, it's been a pleasure casting with you, Nick. I think we did a pretty good job.
Fun.
Yeah, we did all right. We had a fun game.
Mapper, but you know.
Yeah, it helped. Well, we'll throw it back to the break with the intel play of the game. We hope you guys have enjoyed the group stage so far, and we'll see you back for the playoffs.
Attackers activate the diffuser. Defenders have eyes on the diffuser. Attackers need to protect it. Defenders have disabled.